Introduced in 2020, updated infotainment for Pivi Pro in 2021. 2022 added an HST r-dyanic P300. Today, Land Rover of Tampa has given us the 2023 Range Rover Evoque r-dyanic S P300 in your Santorini black. We have the black exterior package. We have updates in the interior, so you'll get the lower digital screen, digital reader for the gauge cluster, leather throughout, and luxury. Upgraded tech is what we're getting for this year. The fashion statement starts with rivals like your BMW X1, Volvo XC40, Jeep Wrangler, Ford Bronco, but this one has more elegance on the exterior, plus an everyday drive and off-roading orient. So you got the blend of both worlds packed in one SUV. I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The Range Rover Evoque r-dyanic S has that fashion statement, and they start off with the grille. This was in 21 with the Land Rover badging, gloss black for your Range Rover, LED daytime running and headlamps, working down the lower bit, non-functional here in the center, but a functional side curtain with the gloss black for the line. So I do like that because we have the black pack. It's going to blacken out the Range Rover badging. It's going to blacken out on the hood and on the side. Going into the rear, you're badging the lower bumper all blacked out, and we get the gloss black on the side curtains with an approach angle of 22.2 degrees, clearance over 8 inches, fording through water depth nearly 21 inches. So I like the fact that you're getting a luxury styled Range Rover that you can still ford through water. If you're looking at a BMW, it's not going to be able to do the terrain that this is going to be set with. Terrain response 2 with selectable drive and off-road modes, so that way you can toggle through different dynamics. We have the handling package, which adds adaptive dynamics, configurable dynamics, 21-inch, 5 split spoke, gloss black wheels, the disc reading behind it at 13.7 inches, ventilated in the front, the rear at 12.8 inches. A strut multi-link suspension setup. Comparing it against any of the rivals, this actually puts it in a category like a Toyota Land Cruiser, but compact, with a length at 172.1 inches, a wheelbase 105.5 inches. So the styling, this is a fashion statement. That's what everybody is known when they see these vehicles. You got the coupe structure that goes into the rear, so you're going to lose a little bit of cargo, maybe a couple of inches. But they keep this signature touch with the black exterior pack, everything blacked out. It keeps a stealth look. All 4 corners are flared out, so it keeps that strong proportion layout, LED tail lamps, a lower roof spoiler with your rear track at 64.2 inches, departure angle at 30.6 degrees. You're not going to get any exhaust, but you are going to be able to tow at 3,918 pounds, which is more than BMW, Volvo, and the Wrangler. And I like what they did here. They give you an extra 400 plus pounds so they can beat all the competition. And I don't know if I would cut on this. The diffuser look to it keeps an aggressive style. Payload, 1,420 pounds. So you could do a lot with this bad boy. Going inside, power liftgate, cargo starts at 21.6 cubic feet. We have a 12-volt charger, storage on the right side, LED interior lighting, and you have an area that you can put some bottles that would hold in. The rear bench split folds at a 40-20-40 split. That's going to max the cargo to 50.5 cubic feet. This is still a turbocharged, even though it's a 2.0 4-cylinder. So we should go inside, start it up, give it some riz so you can hear that exhaust note. The Range Rover Evoque r-dyanic S is not something that's meant for performance for a 0 to 60 or a quarter mile, but the sleek style, the fashion statement on or off-road, they still back some kick with a 2.0 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, producing 246 horsepower with 269 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to a 9-speed ZF automatic transmission, achieving 20 to 26 mpgs, 0 to 60 around 7 seconds, which is about the same speed as the Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. Quarter mile at 15.2 seconds, stopping 70 to 0 around 181 feet, which is almost the best in class, and this is not the longest vehicle either. So when you're looking at trying to get some off-road capabilities, this is going to pack a little bit more performance than the Jeep Wrangler, than the Ford Bronco, depending on the tier and the engine trim you choose, but this one will be able to conquer all that plus your everyday use. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 Range Rover Evoque r-dyanic S. As we go into the interior, go over the tech and take this for our test run. Inside the Range Rover Evoque r-dyanic S, headroom 38.3 inches. You'll lose about 0.5 inches because we got the large pano moonroof. 40 inches of leg room, r-dyanic kick plates, leather bucket front seats, 12-way power adjustments. They're heated. It's ebony on ebony. You get the contrast stitching. Get your everyday use Range Rover seats. Ebony in the veneer interior with the gloss black for your air vents. And I like how seamless it is because this matches all of the Land Rovers and Range Rovers, and that gives a nice little pattern structure. Soft materials here. It's going to be more harder, but everyday use so you don't have to worry. Veneer comes inside with the Land Rover badging. That ZF 9-speed automatic transmission gets the silver and the leather wrapped around it. You have two clusters. One is going to be derived for your infotainment and your navigation. The other one will be derived predominantly for your climate control and your driver mode select. On the top, we have navigation. It's a Pivi Pro 10.1 inch. We have the pinch, we have the swipe. Click home so you can see all the apps we have. This is all your wedges laid out to make it easy for you. Wireless Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, streaming Bluetooth audio with a wireless charger. Click on that camera right there and you can pivot the actual camera points. 3 different destinations. You have your front and rear parking sensors. So when you put it into reverse, you'll see you have full trajectory, and I like how it goes because it works with your steering wheel to make it easy for your reversing. The lower screen is digital. They're a widescreen layout, multi-functionality for the buttons. You can do it for your heated and ventilated seats. Click onto here and it'll change to activate the air condition or heater fan speed. You have your driver mode select right here so you can click onto it on the fly. Heated seats up front. Your dual climate control settings. Cup holders, a 16.9 ounce will fit without any issues. I would say a 20 ounce to maybe 32 ounce. This is a 2-tier, so open up 1, open up 2. You get a USB-A and a USB-C. It's a pretty deep, and it's going to be more firm drive. These also rotate up to cover up those cup holders. We have a pass-through, and the goodies behind it is a wireless charging pad. Leather wrap, 3-spoke multi-function Range Rover steering wheel. When you click onto this, it is multi-button structure for a minimalistic look. You get the paddle shifters, your stocks. The gauge cluster is a digital readout. You can go through an array of information for the driver. The display layout to put your maps. You have your 2 dials. Door panel's got your everyday use, ebony on ebony, and I like that you have this pattern structure right here. One touch up and down for all the windows. Gloss black in the center. You get the silver, soft where you rest your elbows. The storage pocket's pretty deep. For the back seats, I'm at 37.4 inches of headroom. You're going to lose nearly an inch because of this large pano. Leg space, 34 inches, which I have pretty sufficient amount, and you sit kind of inward, so it's going to be a little snug sitting in the center, which you'll see. Elbows are going to be soft on both sides. Cup holders, a 20 ounce can fit. We have your air vents, the Evoque badging, a 12-volt storage behind both of the front seats. The floor is not completely flat. Door panels gets the same segment as the front, everyday use materials, soft where you rest your elbows, the gloss black, one touch up and down, Meridian sound system. You get the tweeter back here and a larger speaker with a large storage pocket. Sitting into the center, headroom is not going to be an issue. Leg space, I'm going to be grazing the back of the front seats in the position that I'd be sitting. I'm sharing feet, butt, and shoulder space, and because the door panels push inward and the bench isn't so wide, it's going to be tight to fit 3 adults my dimensions at 6'3". Taking the 2023 Range Rover Evoque r-dyanic S out for our test run. 2.0 liter turbocharged, 246 horsepower, 269 pound-feet of torque. Towing is better than pretty much all of its class. Payload is right about the same. Cargo is going to be a little bit better than most of the rivals. Volvo will knock it on that. The interior is going to be a little bit more sculpted than your traditional Range Rover, so it's not going to be as box shaped, more of a fashion statement here. 0 to 60 around 7 seconds, right at the same speed as your Mercedes-Benz GLB 250. Now they offer a more powerful variant. That one we're not even going to discuss because it would blow this one out of the park with performance, but this is on and off-road with the luxury captured, all blended in. BMW X1, they do an excellent job. That's more of a box structure. This is more of a coupe style for the rear, so you're going to lose a little bit of cargo, but it's still sufficient. And it's hard to really compare this against a Jeep Wrangler or a Ford Bronco. And the only reason why I'm saying that is because of the luxury that you get with the Range Rover. The price point also escalates as you get more features. So we have the black exterior pack, that's extra. We have the power for your steering column, that's extra. This lower digital screen, extra. The gauge cluster, extra. Some things that you have to be cautious with because the MSRP can escalate to a high $60,000 price point. We have the dynamic handling package, which is something I would definitely option. And realistically speaking, the way this one's set up, I probably would option it this way. The dynamics is pretty good because this will configure and make different drive mode selections. So your terrain response 2, you can add even more off-road rugged performance. Over 8.3 inches of ground clearance, so you do sit up and you feel like you set up. The windows on the side are going to be a little bit more sleek than large. That is traditionally known for a Range Rover or even a Land Rover. And the door panels are a bit more bulky, but I like how more comfortable they are for your elbows, because typically when you get into a Land Rover, Range Rover, you do find a little bit of harder materials and it's not the same soft textures as most leather vehicles. But to show you what I mean by the length of this vehicle, it's not the longest car in its class, so you can get into a lane without any issues because this is a smaller SUV. No dual pane windows, so you do have to take that in consideration. The engine note, it's peppy, so when you push it, it wants to go. And I've noticed that it does have a little bit of vibration whenever you are at an idle, but it is a smaller engine and it does back a lot of performance for that turbocharge. Dynamics, steering wheel is pretty light with a touch of weight, so I like that because it gives you that ability to do some off-roading. Pickup, decent. Braking, it's good. Turn radius, we're going to try to do it at more or less a stop point. And it's going to get about 2 lanes, and let's rock and roll. It's very quiet. They did a good job with the window structure. It's not dual pane, but the technology that they're using makes it even more quiet. The engine will filter in over about a 2.5 RPM. Anything underneath that, you're gonna hear a little road noise because we have upgraded wheels. I mean, everyday drive, kind of liking it. A large windscreen, A-pillars pushed back, so you got a bit of that sporty style. And again, a fashion design is what we're going for. Heated seats here, they do offer ventilated. I wish they had massage seats. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this Evoque. The 3 things that I like about the vehicle is you not only get a fashion statement, you get off-roading capabilities, plus it's an everyday practical vehicle with MPGs almost at 30 miles per gallon. The second thing that I like is when you option all the digital screen layout, you're getting a fraction of the price of the Valère in this vehicle. The last thing that I like about the Evoque is you can still wade through depth at nearly 21 inches, which is right at the same as the Ford Bronco. It's about 7 inches less than a Land Cruiser, so you can kind of gauge what I mean. If you're going for a Bronco, this is going to be more quiet inside, plus it's going to have that wow feature whenever you're going somewhere, because people are going to say, you know what, this guy got some money. Not to say that the Bronco isn't expensive or good, it's just you get more luxury and off-roading capabilities in this. 3 things that I dislike about the vehicle is you have to add a lot of packages to make it as luxurious as this. The second thing that I dislike about the vehicle is when you are at an idle, you will feel some of the vibrations in this car. And also when you open the hood, it gets really hot. The last thing that I dislike about the vehicle is they really stress with the ebony on ebony on ebony on ebony, and I can sound like a broken record, but that's what they put on the sticker. 3 times ebony. I know I said 4, just trying to make a joke. I like the veneer that they add. It does offset it, and they just put a touch of it so it's very classic and modern. The gloss black and the silver really just pop. Just, it's a bit dull for the seats. Maybe change the piping or the contrast stitch. Give it a little bit more of a sport / luxury flair, because it's not something that's going to get old, so you don't have to worry in that category. It just gets a little dark in the interior. Everyday used car though, I mean, it ticks the box. And check out this. I'm going to do some dynamic driving with this Dynamic S. Here we go. It's not like F1 or NASCAR speed, but it's composed, it's quiet, you get a touch of the drone note from that engine, and you just relax, because this is a luxury ride. In the areas for my feet, it is a little, not uncomfortable, but it's hard to find a happy medium because I can't stretch my leg back all the way, because the way Land Rover and Range Rovers do their vehicles is they put it almost on a pedestal for the actual seat. So you'll realize that sitting into the front. The back, you don't really have that problem, but you do sit inwards and it kind of goes like this, molding around your back.